Live and on demand from the WNY News Now studios in downtown Jamestown. This is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now on this Veterans Day. I'm Justin Gould. Here's what's happening. The Jamestown community celebrates veterans of all sorts here in downtown Jamestown. We'll take you to a ceremony that happened just a little while ago. Plus, county officials are warning residents about an upcoming winter storm. But first, let's check in with Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. He's here with a look at our weather. Hey, Dakota.
Hey, Justin, and happy Monday, everybody. We made it through another weekend, but we've got a lot of winter stuff coming our way. So here's First Defense Doppler. We don't have a whole lot of snow going on right now, but as we go throughout the afternoon, the snow is going to uptick in intensity, and it will become heavy at times as we go throughout the afternoon. Now, the National Weather Service has upgraded that winter storm watch to a winter storm warning. They did that last night, so it's all the counties here shaded in pink. That's the winter storm warning. This goes until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning for Western New York, 1 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon for Erie County, PA, and there's also a winter weather advisory for Warren County, PA that goes until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. We're talking heavy snow accumulations and a little bit of ice coming our way as well, with some sleet mixing in at time to time. So we'll talk about it a little bit later on. 42 over 33 was the high and low yesterday. This is where we should be this time of the year, 50, and we're going to be nowhere near that pretty much throughout the next 7 to 10 days. We don't see anywhere close to average, and 66 over 10 is in the record books for today. This 10-degree low occurred back just 2 years ago in 2017. You remember how cold it was back then. So through the afternoon, the snow will pick up through the afternoon. It will mix with sleet and freezing rain later in the afternoon, mainly down near the state line. The snow will be heaviest late this afternoon into evening. Probably about 1 to 3 inches by the afternoon is done. The wind comes up as well with that 10 to 20 mile per hour wind and some wind gusts around 25, lower to mid 30s for most areas. We'll time out the snow plus how much snow will we seeing with that 7-day later in the show. Justin?
Alrighty, Dakota, thank you. Our top story, veterans, elected officials, and community members alike gathered this morning to honor those who have served in our nation's armed forces. Veterans of foreign wars Post 53 gathered at Jamestown's Veterans Memorial Park to honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. The Legion then hosted a 21-gun salute at the corner of 3rd and Main Streets here in downtown Jamestown. We spoke to the Legion's commander, who says that this day means a lot to him and his fellow vets.
The idea of honoring everybody that is serving or who has served should be in our hearts forever. And by having this special day, that just kind of promotes that, and it reminds people that there are those that are making a great sacrifice, both serving and who have served.
Now, Jamestown High School's marching band played the Star-Spangled Banner and Buglers' Taps. Jamestown Mayor-elect Eddie Sundquist says it's important to get young people involved in the holiday.
Well, there's nothing greater than service, whether that's service to your community or service to your country. And we want to show our young folks, especially those in schools, that this is something they can do. They can serve their country, they can serve their community in many ways, and our veterans are a shining example of service they've given to our country for our lives.
Now, following the ceremony in downtown, a service was held at St. Luke's Episcopal Church, and then another ceremony will be taking place at Soldiers Circle in Lakeview Cemetery. Other news we're following, a City of Jamestown man is facing several charges after New York State Police say he was found allegedly driving intoxicated on I-86 near Kennedy Sunday. 31-year-old Kenneth Lamb III is charged with felony driving while intoxicated and first-degree aggravated unlicensed operation following a vehicle stop. Troopers say Lamb was pulled over for allegedly passing them at a high rate of speed. He was then placed under arrest after failing several field sobriety tests and taken to the State Police Barracks in Jamestown, where he provided a breath sample of .15. Police say the charge was upgraded to a felony after a check of his driving history revealed he'd been convicted of DWI within the past decade. Lamb was additionally charged with aggravated unlicensed operation because of his driving privileges had been revoked because of the previous DWI arrest. Lamb was processed and issued appearance tickets returnable to the Town of Poland court and released. He's scheduled to appear in that courtroom at a later date. And with Chautauqua County expected to receive heavy snow and ice today and tomorrow, officials are reminding county residents to use caution on the roads. The National Weather Service in Buffalo currently has a winter storm warning in effect from this morning through early Tuesday. Mixed precipitation is expected with total snow accumulations of 6 to 10 inches in northern areas and 3 to 6 near the Pennsylvania state line. Ice accumulations up to 1/10 of an inch are also expected part of the storm. Drivers are reminded to reduce their speeds when roads are slick or visibility is reduced and to turn on their headlights so others can see you. They say keep parked vehicles off of roads and shoulders so that plows can clear the area. And remember to bring your cell phone when traveling so that it can be used in the case of an emergency. The Chautauqua County Department of Public Facilities says they'll be out plowing and salting on roads. They remind drivers to stay at least 200 feet behind a snowplow. Now, if you must pass a snowplow, you should use caution, as snowplows could create clouds of snow that can obstruct vision and road conditions in front of the plow, and conditions will likely be worse in front of the plow as well. So hopefully you all are having a good Monday. Thanks so much for joining us here on WNY News Now. Justin Gould hanging out with you. Let us know where you are on this Veterans Day, if you are at work, if you are at home, if you are out thinking of that. Certainly there was plenty of opportune time this morning to do that here within the Jamestown community. Hello to Wendy. Hopefully you are doing well. Joanna, hi to you. Hopefully you are having a good day. Tammy, good to see you. Looks like Pam is here. Lori has joined us as well. Good afternoon, Lori, and hello to Dawn. I just want to say thank you to all of our vets, our AD Simcoe being one of them, and hopefully he is having a good day at home today, and a very nice Veterans Day. Certainly, this day is to commemorate so much that they all have given us for our freedoms and for our ability to do this broadcast right here in the good United States of America. So we appreciate that. Good to see Jesse on the broadcast. Hopefully you are having a good Monday. And Wendy says to... did I hear that wrong? To turn them off. Turn headlights on, I think is what probably you may have heard. But yeah, be sure to turn your headlights on when it's this snowy. And county officials really say if you have to pass a plow, this is kind of a weird thing. They're like, sometimes the plows will move over if you're on a 2-lane road, traffic this way, traffic that way. They will move over and let people pass. But really, I've always had the mentality of if you're going somewhere, you might as well be 200 feet behind a plow, because it seems like you're gonna A, get the road clear, and B, get the salt down. So just my opinion. Coming up, we have a lot more news to tell you about. One group here in New York State is trying to create a fund to help the climate. But first, what New York is trying to do for vets on this Veterans Day. Dakota.
And we'll take a live look from the Mill Creek Mall in Erie. No snow yet, but that will be changing as we go throughout the next 24 hours in a big way. We'll talk about it next as WNY News Now continues in a minute. Don't go away.
Live and on demand, you're watching WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Want weather now? Download the WNY News Now mobile app and stay up to date on severe weather alerts. Plus, anytime hazardous weather strikes, stick with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network that keeps you safe. You're all in a tornado warning, so now is the time to go to a safe place, small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. What are you waiting for? Download the WNY News Now mobile app today. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
And happening now for the 100th anniversary of Veterans Day, New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo is pushing to establish the state's first veterans cemetery. Cuomo says he plans to introduce legislation to streamline the process established to select and access funeral funding for a state veterans cemetery. Now, additionally, a committee chaired by the director of New York State's Division of Veteran Services will work to develop an action plan to determine the location of the cemetery. Now, New York is one of the only few states nationwide that currently does not have a state veteran cemetery. In more New York State news, the state is facing calls to create a $1 billion fund for climate change projects ranging from mass transit aid to municipalities when fossil fuel plants close down. A coalition of environmental labor groups called the New York Renews is asking Democrat Governor Andrew Cuomo to include such a fund in his budget proposal next year. They say the money should come from New York's general fund and say additional revenues is needed to address climate change. Now, supporters say the fund will help New York fulfill a sweeping climate change law that passed this year. That law is called Zero Emissions Statewide and is called for zero emissions statewide by 2050. Well, this is an interesting one. College students are putting down cigarettes in favor of, yes, joints. A study found that marijuana usage is growing among young adults. Researchers looked at data from 2002 to 2016 to identify a trend in smoking. Now, marijuana increased in popularity among 18 to 22-year-olds in college by nearly 8%. Now, by 2016, about 40% of young adults admitted to using the drug within the past year. The study did not specify how those students were consuming pot, though. Researchers found students weren't just more likely to use marijuana, they were doing so exclusively and ditching tobacco altogether. The study can be found in Monday's edition of the American Academy of Journal Pediatrics. So very interesting. Certainly, it seems like a lot of people, when you go through primary school, they're very much, make sure no smoking. Smoking is bad. You know the health risks to it. But for me, anyways, it was the same with marijuana. So I'm not quite sure where that study is coming from. Obviously, not everybody who's in college, right, has smoked marijuana. Certainly, there are a lot of good health effects. People suffering with PTSD have found help from that. That's scientific. People who are suffering with cancer have been able to have better looking bodies and treating the symptoms a lot better, right? You're very nauseous when you take chemotherapy. You can't eat that often. Marijuana helps you do that. Gives you the munchies, right? So interesting study nevertheless, and it seems like New York, they didn't pass legalized marijuana last year. We'll see what happens come this year. Got to say hello to David, hello to Mike, hopefully you're doing well. Wendy says right now it's been drizzling in Celeron for about a half an hour. And Lori replying to Frank here, he says, anyone know what happened Saturday around 8th in Washington? 4 gunshots, police were looking for someone. Frank, this is the first we've heard of it, but we'll continue to monitor things. A lot of times if police hear gunshots or there's a report of gunshots, they'll investigate. But a lot of times those become unfounded and are never reported. Good afternoon to you, Cindy. She says, happy Vet Day. Thank you all to who have served and are serving in our military. Completely agree with you, Wendy. Today certainly a great day to remember and to be grateful for some of the freedoms that we have. Another person we are very grateful for, Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. He's here with a live look at our weather in just a bit. And later on, I sit down with this man, a 90-year-old World War II veteran who recounts his story on this Veterans Day. Stay with us. Pronto Mart, not your average corner store. Located on the corner of Forest and Newland Avenues in Jamestown, Pronto Mart has everything you've been looking for. An amazing selection of hot foods, a large variety of premier headgear, and smoking accessories to fit any style. Pronto Mart, not your average corner store. Stop in and visit us today.
You're watching WNY News Now. where coverage comes first.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Not tomorrow, but right now on the WNY News Now mobile app. Follow local news as it happens.
Top story, a Forestville man's weather video has gone viral.
And stay informed with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network.
Our Matt Hummel is standing by live outside of Chautauqua County Court with more on this case. Matt, good afternoon to you.
Download the WNY News Now app right now. It's free on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
First Defense Weather, the Southern Tier's only live and local weather source. Now, here's Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter.
And welcome back. We've got a lot of weather stuff to talk about, so let's get right into it. So first of all, here are the weather headlines. So basically, the weather conditions are going to basically get worse as we go throughout the afternoon into tonight as the heavy snow will start. Heavy snow will start mainly the western areas, and then as you work south and east near the state line, and then further out to the east, there'll be more sleet and freezing rain mixing in the further south and east you go. We will add lake effect into this mix later tonight and then early tomorrow morning as the winds shift out of the south, out of the northeast, and that'll bring some lake effect off the southeastern end of the lake. And heavy snow totals are likely in some slick spots definitely by tomorrow morning where you see the ice accumulation. Right now at the airport, we're at 32 with a northeast wind of 8, and look at the visibility, only 1 3/4 miles. There's a little bit of fog going on north of the city at the airport, which is of course where the airport is located. So winter storm warnings across all of western New York. A winter weather advisory down here for Warren County, PA that goes until tomorrow morning. Almost all of these warnings will go until tomorrow morning, and that means there's heavy impact coming, basically heavy impacts on the way. So the overall weather impacts here, it's mainly going to be snow and cold. For this time of the year, it is rather cold for this time of the year. We should be near 50 degrees this time of the year, and we're going to be nowhere near that. And the wind chill is going to be a little bit of a factor going into tomorrow, or should I say Wednesday morning, with lows dipping down into the teens. Some wind chills could be near the single digits on Wednesday morning. Yeah, old man winter's coming early. All right, here's a look at First Defense Doppler. Not a whole lot of snow falling right now and not a whole lot of rain either, but this will uptick in intensity as we go throughout the afternoon, and you can see that snow coming in out of the west, that wet snow, but it will pick up as we go throughout the afternoon. We'll take you through a future scan here. This is the newest run of the in-house computer model, and you can see these darker blues starts to indicate the heavier amounts of snowfall. Now watch what happens further south and east. This purple area here, that is a mix of rain, sleet, or freezing rain. This is why the totals are going to be lower the further south and east you go, because there's going to be more freezing rain here. But there also could be some slick spots within this where you do see the ice accumulation. Notice the wind direction coming directly across the lake. That'll generate a couple bands of lake effect, and that will add to the projected snowfall totals, mainly inland away from the lake, and then that'll ultimately start to die down as we go throughout the day on Tuesday. So updated snowfall projections, this is what we're going with, about 6 to 8 inches across the lower elevations, which you rise up into the hills, maybe 7 to 9, maybe 10 inches in some spots. Again, where you see the heavier bands of lake effect later or should I say later tonight into tomorrow, you could bump up that total again, maybe about an inch or two. Again, I often tell you, don't focus on this higher number, focus on the lower number. The lower number is more going to be, I want to say, the more realistic number. This is just the higher number is the overall highest total of what we can expect. Maybe upwards of a foot up here once you rise up into the Boston Hills, and then obviously 2 to 4 down to the south where you see that sleet and freezing rain. And speaking about the freezing rain, these are the projected ice accumulations coming off the in-house model. You can see most everybody around 1/10 of an inch. Again, this isn't noteworthy, but this will cause some slick spots on the roads. But you know, 1/4 of an inch is what you need for any big problems with ice. And it's just going to be downright cold, and we have some potentials of breaking records. I think this is going to be fine. The snowfall record for today is 4.6 inches set back in 1933. I think we're okay with that. The record low maximum high temperature for tomorrow is 31 set back in 1983. No doubt we're going to bust that. And the record low for Tuesday is 17 set back in 1961. I have also no doubt in my mind we'll bust this as well. So these two records here on Tuesday could definitely be busted. Yeah. So here's the forecast details for tonight. Heavy widespread snow turns lake effect later tonight. Sleet and freezing rain farther south and east you go. 20 to 25. Look at the wind out of the northeast. 15 to 25 miles per hour with some gusts around 30 miles per hour at times. Future coming up on the screen. 25 tomorrow. There's that record low of 17. We're forecasting 14. So if we hit that, we'll break the record low for that date. 23 on Wednesday, just downright cold. 33 on Thursday, leftover snow showers. Friday, small chance of a snow shower, otherwise partly cloudy. 36 Saturday, also partly cloudy. We warm up a little bit on Sunday, 45, but that's still below average, but it'll feel like a heat wave compared to this. Sports is next. Don't go away.
When you're on the go, stay in the know by downloading the WNY News Now mobile app. Stay up to date on local news, weather, and sports that matter to you. Plus, subscribe to breaking news and weather alerts from the team that puts coverage first. In addition, watch news as it happens with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network. Download the WNY News Now app right now. It's free on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news. WNY Sports Now is powered by Phone Zone of Jamestown. With the largest inventory around, we buy and sell our own merchandise at a price that can't be beat. Have a broken screen? We'll fix it. Learn more at phonezoneshop.com.
Happy Monday, sports fans, and welcome back to WNY News Now. I'm Norm Rodriguez with a look at sports. For any fans of SportsCenter, a play from the Clymer-Sherman-Panama versus Ellicottville game in the Section 6 Class D Championship football game hit number 4 on the SportsCenter Top 10 on Sunday. As you'll see in the video, running back John Schwabik takes a pitch from Garrett Hinsdale on a halfback option play. After taking the pitch, Schwabik spins away from an Ellicottville defender and throws a long bomb, resulting in a 69-yard touchdown pass to Cameron Barmore, one of his 2 touchdown catches of the game. The Wolfpack would end up winning that championship game 22-0, reeling in their second consecutive Section 6 Class D championship. They will have a neutral playoff game on Friday at SUNY Brockport versus Notre Dame High School. In a game where their defense once again showed up, offensive and special teams problems caused the Buffalo Bills to lose to the Cleveland Browns 19-16 on Sunday. Josh Allen finished the game with a season-high 266 yards passing without a touchdown or an interception. Allen also ran for both the Buffalo's touchdowns. On Cleveland's end, Baker Mayfield threw for 238 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Nick Chubb rushed for 116 yards. Jarvis Landry caught 9 passes for 97 yards and one of Mayfield's touchdown passes. Buffalo will remain on the road for their next game on November 17th, as they will have a divisional game against the Miami Dolphins. With an 8:15 kickoff tonight, the 8-0 San Francisco 49ers will host the 7-2 Seattle Seahawks for a West Coast divisional battle on Monday Night Football. The Niners are coming off of their bye week, winning their most recent game 28-25 against the Arizona Cardinals back on Halloween night, making them the only undefeated team in the league. Meanwhile, Seattle has won 5 of their last 6, winning their last game 40-34 in overtime versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last Sunday. Despite record similarities, the Niners are predicted to have more than a 75% chance to win tonight. That's according to ESPN's Power Football Index. The game will be televised on ESPN. That's it for sports today. Justin and Dakota, back to you.
Alrighty, Norm. Thank you very much. Well, an area World War II veteran is remembering his service nearly 80 years later. Philip White, an Army Air Force veteran, says he first enlisted to serve alongside his brother in 1941 after the United States was attacked in Pearl Harbor. A radio operator and gunner on a Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress, he says his proudest moment of service was helping feed the starving in a German-occupied Holland part of Operation Chowhound.
When you're flying a B-17 at treetop height, it gives you a little bit of you change the color in your pants.
Pretty hairy, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's part of it. And you're throwing food out, and you're standing in an open bomb bay. The plane is at low altitude and all over the sky because it's airflow. And you got planes all around you doing the same damn thing.
He said it wasn't until the 1990s when he felt validated and forgiveness for his actions during the war.
I was walking in Hilton Head one day on the beach. I came to a guy and we talked to me and said hello in broken English, and I said, "You're not from around here." He says, "No, I'm from Amsterdam." I said, "Oh, I know Amsterdam." He says, "How do you know Amsterdam?" I said, "We dropped food for you guys." He said, "You were one of those?" Wow. He says, "I was standing on the top of a building watching you fly in and dropping all the food. I couldn't believe you guys didn't crash into each other, but you saved our lives." I had to sit down because something came over me, and I felt a hand on my shoulder, and it felt like the Lord would said to me, "Phil, I'm forgiving you for your sins because of stopping, instead of bombs, you're dropping food and saving people." I felt that.
White also recalled losing his brother after his plane was shot down over the Himalayan mountains.
Radio contact over the Himalayas is horrible because of the mountains, so they lost their way and ran out of fuel and crashed. We found out, but it was many years later until they found the bodies.
Now, Dakota, today, White hopes all Americans can come together and remember and honor those who have served. He says he's very grateful for his freedoms here in the United States and honored to have been one of the many who served in World War II.
Absolutely fantastic. And I just got to say, that was a fantastic interview, Justin. That was fantastic. He did a great job on that. And I mean, hearing him tell stories about, his time in the service is fantastic. And, I've mentioned before about how my grandfather served in World War II. World War II, he was in the 777th Tank Division as a sharpshooter. Unfortunately, he passed away long before I came around. But I just wish I would have had that time. Now, apparently from what my dad said, he never used to really like to talk about the war too much.
Yeah.
And, in a way, I can understand that. But, just to think of all the things that my grandfather seen in World War II that maybe a lot of the people in the family might not have ever known.
And it makes
you wonder.
Yeah, and one of the big reasons why he reached out to us, and he didn't directly reach out to WNY News Now because in his 90s, he's not that technically savvy.
Right.
He doesn't have internet at his house. However, through the help of his son and a number of community organizations, they saw online that he wanted to tell his story and gave us a call on Friday of last week and said, "I know this is such short notice for Veterans Day, but is there a way you can send someone over to interview him?" And, the answer was immediately yes. It was a pleasure to have him and his wife invite us into their home and sit down with him and talk to him. And I mean, we talked for, about an hour and a half or so and condensed it into this piece. But it really was amazing, and I want to thank him for his service. And, it's an absolute pleasure and a privilege for us to be able to have this and document this forever. I mean, this video will never go away. This broadcast will never go away. In another 100 years, people can be watching this and can hear from him and in his service and such a crucial mission to World War II and helping the humanitarian side of the war in helping the group there who were being starved by the Nazis who invaded their country. So it really is amazing, and just want to thank him and everyone on this Veterans Day for allowing us to cover that. Wendy says, beautiful, absolutely amazing. She said she's got goosebumps from hearing this. Pam says she certainly loves this guy, and certainly I know a lot of people do. He says currently he has a lot of girlfriends in the local community, one of which being Susan Raleigh, who is the president of the Blue Star Mothers. She does a lot within the a local military community within their family group.
It's just what we always say,
So-
age is just a number, right?
Right, exactly. So he's got a lot of honey. So I appreciate you all so much. Cindy's absolutely awesome and amazing, and thank you for sharing a story. You're absolutely welcome. Another big story that we're following here in Dakota is the weather. I think a lot of people are very interested when it comes to.
Some may be interested, but some may not like what we have to say. So
Right.
the projected snowfall total is going through tomorrow. We're talking 6 to 8 inches lower elevations, 7 to 9 once you rise up into the hills. With the added lake effect, we could add on maybe a couple more inches on top of that. And it's just going to be downright cold. The next 7 days is nowhere what you would think of as an early November day. Not one of those days. Not even next Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, in the 40s, it's going to be chilly and snowy. So please, if you are traveling out there, be safe over the next 48 hours or so. I guess 24 hours at this
Yeah,
point.
about 24.
About 24. But,
We're not leaving. We're going to camp right here. Hotel WNY News Now.
Dakota's going to camp here. I'm going home after this. I don't know about you. Sorry, buddy.
The whole weather staff is going to be here. We're going to throw a big old party, and eventually we'll go to the Waffle House and swap some manly stories.
Does the pizza guy deliver in snowstorms, do you know?
I don't know.
We'll see. Hey,
figure that out.
Not looking too great out over Chautauqua Lake. When you're on the go, stay in the know. Download our mobile app. We'll keep you updated throughout the entire winter storm. If you missed anything we talked about on the broadcast, don't worry. You can watch it on the flip side here on Facebook and on our 24-hour streaming network at WNYNewsNow.com. Have a great day. Hope to see you here tomorrow.